G'day, welcome back to the Fantasy Farmers podcast. I'm your host, Kale, and my co-host, Taff. Today we're looking at our top 12 wide receivers for the 2025 season. Taff, we're counting down. Who's your number 12?
Look, number 12 wide receiver. All right, so this one's an interesting one. I've got it's whoever the number one wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins is at the start of the season. So whether that's Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, I think one of them will be number 12. I think Jalen Waddle, at this point, the only reason he hasn't taken off, he did a couple of years ago, but at this rate, he's never going to beat out Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. I think he had an off season last season, but he was also missing Tua a lot. And he had quarterback play with Snoop Huntley. So I think that's the reason for his dip in quality last season. But I think he returns to form if he's still in Miami.
Does the comments coming out of Tua saying he wants to get the ball out quicker, even though he gets it out the quickest in the league already, does that make it more easier for Waddle or Hill, both being speedsters downfield? And for me, that probably looks at A-Chan's targets going up and John Uber, but now that he's gone, maybe a sneaky Waller.
I don't see it. I don't know. I just he can say one thing, but then he could just not follow through with it. At the end of the day, it's not really up to him.
Yeah, considering he already gets it out quick, I don't know how much quicker he can do it.
Yeah, 100% like you just said.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, Hill is a bit lower down for me, but my number 12 is Higgins. So the wide receiver 2 out of Cincinnati. I just think on a points per game last year, he was inside that top 12. All he needs is to stay healthy, and yeah, for me, he's a bona fide stud. To get him in the third round is a great draft value for me, and he's someone that I'm targeting. Yeah, I just think Cincinnati's attack is going to be, as I mentioned in our pilot episode, Cincinnati is just going to be passing the ball flat out like they were towards the end of last season with Burrow, Higgins, and Chase, all top fantasy options for me. Yeah.
I do like it. He did finish top 5 with points per game last season, but that's the thing, he misses a lot of games. But if he can stay healthy, I could see him easily being in the top 12. All right. Who do you have at number 11?
Yeah, so moving our way down again. Someone I mentioned in our pilot is another one of my values for the third round. It's Marvin Harrison Jr., my man from the Cardinals. I think his target volume goes up this year. I still think McBride gets his fair share, and still I have him at the tight end 2, right next to Bowers. But I think Harrison, he moves into the promised land that will taking him at the end of the first round last year in redraft. I think he can get close to that. So at wide receiver 11, we're probably looking at mid second round value. I think getting him late third round is a good pick in fantasy. And yeah, I can see you there, clock ticking, and you're getting ready to ask a question.
Yeah, I it's interesting that you say Marv in the top 12, 11th overall for wide receivers. Do you think they've got enough receptions and touchdowns to go around? Do you think the Cardinals are going to score that many touchdowns, score that many points that it makes Marvin Harrison Jr. A wide receiver 1?
For me, I look at some of the history. The draft investment as a pick number 4 is huge, and if you look back at the stats, they almost never not have a top 12 season in their fantasy life. There's not many on that list.
But is that when they leave the Cardinals?
Well, yeah, a lot of them do happen on a changed coaching staff, and obviously the Cardinals' offensive coaching staff hasn't changed. But I just think with the draft investment, they need to utilize him more, and he should be that option. And I think, like I said, I don't see him at your 10 to 12 targets like a Chase or Puka, but I see him at around the 8 mark, and he just catches everything. So, I think he's in my top 12 for sure.
PPR leagues, I could see it. Half PPR.
He
doesn't get many yards.
For me, even in a non-PPR, because I see the touchdowns, and he's not catching like a slot wide receiver. He's a downfield option. Although I would like to see him in the slot every so often as well.
Yeah, okay.
I think he can be utilised anywhere. That's why you draft someone at 4th overall.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And yeah, okay. Well, I guess
Who?
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
This could be a bad call, or it could be a very good
Yeah.
call later on in the
Another one we've
season.
got to add to the betting list.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Well,
your number 11.
my number 11 is also interesting. But I think it's the number 11 for this season. I could see being Stephon Diggs. I think the last 5 years, barring last year, sorry, he's been in the top 10 for wide receivers. Then you had last season where he did his, I think, ACL, so he missed basically the entire season. It was the first one in 5 years where he didn't finish as a top 10 wide receiver. He's gone to a team now with we got Drake May. So he's a full season in now. I think he's only going to keep getting better. I think he's a decent quarterback, and his target competition is Pop Douglas,
Kyle Williams is a rookie in the 3rd
Kyle
round.
Williams, but that's his competition for targets. I think Diggs definitely has it in him to be in the top 12 for wide receivers, just going off past performances.
Okay. I see that as a wild call. I can see him potentially becoming a wide receiver too around the 24 mark. But yeah, I think just players coming off ACLs, especially age 32, he'll be in the season. It seems hard to see. I could see him getting target volume, but like you said, Pop Douglas is one of his main target people he's versing to get targets.
Yeah.
It seems like he's going to be the slot guy. So a 32-year-old coming off an ACL is going to need to be that down the field guy opening it up. I think it's a bold call, and I think potentially a bet between who finishes higher, Marv or Diggs.
I do like that. That's good.
Interesting side for you, but I think that could be something we look at.
Yeah, I do like that idea because both questionable.
Obviously, a great fantasy option in the past, but unfortunately, I think the injury for me, he's a wide receiver 3 option.
Yeah, right. We'll definitely revisit.
Yeah. So now, your wide receiver 10.
My wide receiver 10. I have a lovely Garrett Wilson. I think the Garrett Wilson from memory. Just have a quick look. He definitely finished. Garrett Wilson. He's currently 15th overall. Decent value. His quarterback play has I think it's gotten better. I think Aaron Rodgers last season wasn't himself coming off that injury. So last season he finished as the wide receiver 10. I think he's going to be better than that. But
you've got him at number 10.
I've got him at number 10 as the minimum. I think he has potential to be better. I think he's got a better quarterback this year. I'm not saying I think Aaron Rodgers will be better than what he was last year. He was just coming back from a really bad injury, could hardly move in the pocket. But I think Justin Fields will get him the ball a lot. They've got Aaron Glenn at head coach. I think he's going to do wonders there. Even though he is a defensively minded coach, but I think he's going to do really well. I think he's going to get Garrett Wilson the ball flat out as much as they can. He's going to show why he was getting 1,000 yards per season every season with some of the worst quarterback play any wide receiver had. So that's why I still got him in my top 10.
Agree. He's not in my top 12, as we'll come to see, but for me, he's just outside it. So, I can't blame you at all for putting him there. He's essentially the only target on that offense, unless Brees Hall gets some volume. But as I said in our first episode, I see it being a run by Fields, or if he's looking to pass, I think he's looking at the wide receivers rather than Hall. So I can definitely see Wilson being there. Now, my guy, I've had him in leagues in the past, and I really like him. But I think with his offensive coordinator leaving for a coaching job this year, I think St. Brown is going to fall down a bit. I still think he's a very safe pick at wide receiver 10 for me. But I see a few people going past him this year because he's a slot guy, so good for PPR, and he had a lot of touchdowns last year. But I do see the overall touchdowns going down for that offense, and I think he could be one that loses out there. But other than that, I'm probably not taking him in the first round where he goes. But at the end of the first round, start of the second round, I could still see myself taking him if I'm looking for someone safe. But for me, he just doesn't quite have the upper side of some of the other guys I've got.
Yeah, I don't disagree with everything. I think I've got him a little bit higher in the rankings, but yeah, I think everything you said is pretty spot on.
I
Like
think
he's
he's
not a flashy pick; he's a pretty safe pick. But
very safe. Yeah,
with the emergence of Jamison Williams, I think
correct. Yeah.
he's not that he's going to be made unfantasy reliable,
Yeah,
but
there's just a lot of mouths to feed, and I
yeah,
think Ben Johnson was able to do that.
hmm
It's yet to be seen the new guy coming in
yeah,
if he's able to get that same utilization out of. They got 5 guys with their 2 running backs, tight end, and Gamo and St.
yeah,
Brown. It's a lot of mouths to feed.
yeah. No, yeah, I agree with that. I can't even disagree with it.
Yeah.
All right, number what are we up to?
Number 9.
Number 9. There
I'll go. So here I've got Nico Collins. So on a points per game to start the year last year, he was inside your top 5 and looking like a very good pick. But then the injury problems that he's had came back, and he didn't quite finish the year like you would have hoped. He had one good game in the playoffs, but I know for me, him not doing too well in the semi-final week, I believe week 16, was one of the reasons why the man to my left beat me to get into the championship in our main redraft league. He fell short for me there, but I still think he's a good fantasy option this year. Obviously, a bit of added target competition with towards the end of last year. He had no Tank Dell, no Diggs, but now he's got a young Higgins and an old Kirk, and then also they got another rookie Noel. But for me, Nico should still be the target hog. But maybe to start the year, Kirk is still getting his targets in the slot, and then as the year progresses, I see their 2 rookies starting to get a few more targets. So maybe similar to last year, I can see him starting hot, maybe in your top 5, but towards the end of the year, he's around the 10 to 20 mark on a points per game, and yeah, for me that sees him ending up around the wide receiver 9 mark.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I've got him a little bit higher, but my number 9, I've got AJ Brown. I think he's the top 10. I think we're both going to have pretty similar top 10. I think it's just personal preference once you get to the top 6 at least.
Correct, yeah.
Because they're at this point, the top 10, they're all elite. They're all going in the first or second round for a reason. But the reason I've got AJ Brown at 9th is I think with Jalen Hurts running the ball, with Saquon Barkley running the ball, he's got a lot of competition around him to demand targets. And then you got Devontae Smith as well. You got Dallas. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Got it.
Got it.
Yeah.
He's elite. There's no questioning that, but he has a lot of competition around him. I think without a lot of that competition, I could definitely see him be a top 5 fantasy player. I think outside of fantasy, he's a top 3 wide receiver.
Yep. Yeah, that's a big call actually. So after JJ and Chase, you'd say he's number 3.
I'd say he's number 3. Yeah.
He'd be top 5 for me. 3 is a big one, but yeah, I can't disagree with it.
Yeah, but fantasy wise, I think 9th, just purely because he's got a lot of competition around him that is decent as well. He's not on a team where they've got a lackluster or anything. The Eagles are just good all round. Suffering from success, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Yeah, you'll come to see. I've got AJ a little bit higher than now, so we'll move on to number 8.
Number 8. I'll start with the number 8 spot. This one's one that I don't think you'll have. This one, so everyone expected him to be good last season, and he was good, but he wasn't as good as what everyone thought he was going to be. I think it's going to be DK Metcalf at the number 8 spot. My reasoning for that is he's the top wide receiver on his team now. He's the clear option. He's got Aaron Rodgers, who is still a good quarterback. I think he's a solid quarterback that will produce a fantasy wide receiver 1. And the big thing with Aaron Rodgers is he's removed from that Achilles injury now. I think he's going to be a bit more mobile. He's on a good team. I think DK. I think if he doesn't do it this season, I might be out on DK in general. But I think he has a clear pathway now to be a wide receiver 1, and I think he'll be the wide receiver 8 on the season.
Yeah, I think it is a massive call looking at ADP, but yeah, Rodgers, if he does like a guy, he does hyper focus the targets on him. I mean, he's not in my top 12, but yeah, would like to argue with it, but you made strong points, so I might have to leave it for a bit and come back to you. But
yeah, we'll come back to this one. Could be a terrible call. We could be coming back.
I think it's a bit safer in the wide receiver late two range, but yeah, I mean he could do it. I mean they've already been training together in the off season, and maybe there's a little bit of built-in chemistry by the time the season starts.
Surely that athleticism sort of comes into play, and he just starts being the wide receiver that everyone wants him to be.
Well, he's got the contract to do it, so time to start producing. Now,
your number 8.
Yeah, my number 8. So it's someone that again started the season on fire last year before his quarterback dove into his knee. It's Rashee Rice. So I see him very similar type to St. Brown, that slot wide receiver, but I just had a little bit more trust in the Chiefs offense now with Ben Johnson gone from Detroit, and I think Rice picks up from where he's left off. I do like Worthy as an option. He's obviously in my wide receiver 2 range, but I think the Chiefs pass a bit more with the running backs they got all either coming off an injury or old and washed. I think Mahomes isn't going to get to his massive 5,000 passing yards again, but I can see him at the around the 4,500 mark, and a lot of that going to Rashee Rice, and I see him being in the top 5 for targets in the league. And
that's a big one.
The way he started the season last year, he's been training, and there's apparently no hindrance from the knee injury.
You don't think he's going to go to jail?
No, I
don't think he'll go to jail, but I think he might get suspended.
Yeah, I think the suspension comes next year.
Yep.
So at the moment, some of the mock drafts I'm doing, I can see him going in the 4th round, which I think is wild. I would take him as early as the start of the 3rd, if not late 2nd. But knowing that I can get him early 4th, I'm almost getting him all the time. Yeah, towards the end of the 3rd round. For me, it's a tough choice between Marv, my Cardinals man, and picking Rice. So
that's tough for you.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's an easy one for me. Rashee Rice every single day of the week.
But he's not in your top 12?
No. Purely because I don't trust any Kansas City Chief player fantasy-wise. I think they're all really good. It's just there's so many mouths to feed. It's hard to put your money on which one it's going to be at any given week.
Yeah.
I think Rice is going to have weeks where he's the wide receiver 1. I think Hollywood Brown's going to have weeks where he's the wide receiver 1. I think Xavier Worthy's going to have weeks. I think Kelsey's going to have weeks still. And then I think they're going to have weeks where they're just blowing out their opposition and they're going to run the ball.
Yeah. For me, I still see Kelsey, they were sort of resting at times and utilising him when they needed to. And I see them doing the same again this year to make him get through to the end of the season. And I see Rice being that perfect player, especially when you got Hollywood Brown and Worthy as your field stretches. The underneath is just all opened up. And I still see him utilising some form of Pacheco or Hunt out of the backfield, probably on by committee. But
Smith, who they just drafted as well. Rashad, I think he is. Yeah, I think
he's probably a McKinnon replacement on 3rd down. He could get a few targets, but he's probably a little bit of a non-factor fantasy-wise for me.
Yeah, that's the reason I don't have
start
him.
The season.
He's I just don't like relying on Chiefs players. There's just too many, and there's always one that hits, but it's never the one you have in your lineup.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago I drafted Sky Moore. I was waiting for him to break out.
That was the year I drafted Rashee Rice.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I rejected the trade for Montgomery straight up for Sky Moore, and it probably would have helped me win a championship. But you live and you learn.
Yeah,
but money's on Rice now.
Money's on Rice. All right, so you've got Rice.
Moving up to
number 7.
Number 7.
Who have you got?
I'll go. So I've got the guy who was my number 2, round 2 value in our first episode, Drake London from Atlanta. Like I said in that episode, I see him being the number 1 target, obviously, and by some distance. His competition is Darnell Mooney and Kyle Pitts, and maybe Bijan out of the backfield. And as I said in the first episode, I think not having Kirk Cousins under center anymore with his old age and the Achilles injury, which again makes me wonder how DK can go with Rodgers in Pittsburgh. But I think Drake London is just going to get such a massive target share volume he's he's a good value going in round 2. He's going to be my number 7 wide receiver.
Number 7. I can't even find him. There he is. He's
number 9.
Look, it's not bad. It's not a bad call.
He's still so young.
Yeah, he's 23.
23 going on to his 4th year. So
okay. You've made a good vote. You've nearly convinced me with that one.
I'm one that next year I could see him being top 5 or 6 pick alongside Lamb and Jefferson.
Yep. I don't have him in my top 10. I don't have him in my top 12. But you might have convinced me. I think it's the Falcons. I just don't believe in the Falcons. I think it is. I think that's why I got Bijan so low.
Penix, it's a wait and see, really. It's full forecasting.
I don't think they make playoffs. I think if they're in any other division, they'd be looked at like they're one of the worst teams. They're in one of the easiest divisions. I think that's the only reason they even look like they're going to make playoffs every season.
But for me, if he's going to hog the targets, to me, if they're losing behind games, it doesn't really affect me rating him here, whether the team is good or not.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm biased on Falcons players.
Yeah,
I think that's all that is. But
fair enough. Who's your number 7?
My number 7, Nico Collins, the man you had a few picks ago.
My man,
Nico Collins. I think if he didn't get injured last season, I think he's easily a wide receiver. He's a first-round pick this year. He's obviously had that hamstring niggle sort of popped up a little bit, but you can't draft players sort of waiting for an injury to occur. You just draft with the mindset of they're going to play the whole season.
Yeah, it's hard to get it out of your mind, but I know where you're coming from. You've got to draft the upside. If injuries come,
you can't account for them because that was the reason a lot of people don't draft CMC last season or the season before. Sorry, last season was good idea not to draft him, but season before, people pass on him because he's injury prone, and then he comes out and he's awesome. So I think it's all like the majority of this is luck based. So you just got to
how much risk you want to take.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you just got to think, all right, they're going to play the whole season. That's the mindset you got to go into it with. And I think Nico Collins, his situation has only improved, unfortunately, from last season because of Tank Dell's injury. Looks like he's going to miss the entire season again.
Yep.
So I think
it's just the rookies coming in.
The rookies, exactly. So he's got a lot of rapport now with CJ Stroud.
Yep.
I think they're them working together for so long now. This will be the 3rd season. I think it's only going to get better. I think Nico Collins. I think I'm very, very happy putting him here. He doesn't have much target competition. He's on a good offense. He's got a good quarterback. As far as I know, they've got a pretty good schedule. So I think I'm very happy with Nico Collins at the number 7 spot. If you can pick him up, I think he's going in the 2nd round.
I think early 2nd round.
Yeah.
Or right on the turn.
Yeah, right on the turn. That's an awesome spot there.
Yeah.
But that's number 7 done.
Now, a break in the podcast for our beer review.
Lovely beer review.
Today we're looking at another Australian brand, the Victoria Bitter Low Carb.
Low Carb. Yeah, there's that one, so you can have a look.
I'll have the first taste.
I'm not a big fan of VB. This is going to be rough.
See, it is much better on tap. So for me, it is probably a 4 Tom Brady Super Bowl rings out of 7.
Oh, do you have any notes on it? Apart from the phone.
I'm probably I'm a loyal
out of 7.
I'm a loyal VB man, which is why I'm probably voting it higher than it probably deserves.
All right, I'll crack into the old vomit bomb. As you can tell, I'm probably not going to like it.
Yeah, see, I call it the very beautiful. The bomb
smells like beer. Look, to be fair, it's actually a little bit better than the normal VB.
There you go.
It's actually all right.
A healthier option.
Well, that's actually annoying how much. That's not bad.
So, if you would like your beer reviewed,
if you like your beer
contact our podcast and
you can have
your beer here.
Yeah.
Now, moving on into our top 6 now. Who's your wide receiver 6 for the year?
My wide receiver 6. Now you spoke about him earlier. I agree with everything you said about him. He has lost the offensive coordinator. He's lost the defensive coordinator. I think this whole team has been stripped of coordinators. Well, they have been. He was a wide receiver 3 on the season last season. This season, I think he does take a dip, but not too much of a dip. And I think my wide receiver 6 for this season will be Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's shown time and time again that he's an elite wide receiver. He's still in an awesome offense. They're going to score a lot of points. They're going to score a lot of touchdowns. They unrelenting. We saw it in a few games last season where they were up by an astronomical amount and they didn't take the foot off the gas. They just kept going. And I think him and Jamison Williams will both be very fantasy viable. In the same way, I think Jamison Williams will be fantasy viable in the same way I think T. Higgins will be. But then you'll have those clear wide receiver ones on those teams in Chase and Amon-Ra. So yeah, I think number 6, Amon-Ra.
Yeah, I can't disagree with it. Obviously, I had him at 10, but yeah, I could easily see him finishing here. I just have a few people jumping up above him.
Yeah.
One of them being a man you've already mentioned too, AJ Brown. As you said, yeah, I think on a talent base, he's a top 5 wide receiver, but I've got him here at number 6, mainly for the volume issue. But I see Philadelphia throwing the ball a little bit more than they did last year. I think looked like he might have been getting moved in the off season. So I see them potentially phasing him out a little bit more. So it's more your Smith and AJ Brown, and obviously Barkley in the backfield. And I see them, they have been saying they want to throw the ball a little bit more. And everyone says things in the off season, but whether it actually happens is another thing. But yeah, I see him, the last 2 years, he has started the year hot and sort of died off a bit towards the end of the year. But this year, I can see him keeping up his early season form through the whole year.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess what was he last season? So he's a wide receiver 14 last season.
But
he did miss a couple games.
Missed a few games there.
So you think
points per game he was higher, I believe.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, top 6. I can't hate it. Yeah, I think the top 10 is. Yeah, I think it's just anyone you can pick and choose. They're all going to be there. I think the top 10 is very easy to pick.
Yeah.
Just the order is the hard part.
Correct. Yeah. And moving into number 5
Number 5.
I've got someone where he's a bit below his draft position. It's Jefferson. JJ. I'm just a bit iffy on the quarterback McCarthy. I still think he'll be a good option, but from what I've seen in college, he was a bit of a handoff merchant his last year because they had a good running game. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes in that Minnesota offense, which does have a very good offensive line. And the running back Jones is a bit old, Mason coming across from 49ers. But their passing attack with Jefferson, Addison, and Hockenson, I'm not sure if he's going to, first year in the system, going to have the volume to supply all of them. And they're all elite, obviously, with Jefferson being probably the number 1 receiver in the league. He's still a safe pick in the first round for me. But I think I have a few people pushing past him in the points per game this year.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Everything you've mentioned is pretty valid. We don't know how JJ McCarthy's going to go yet.
That's the only hesitation. If it was Darnold again, I'd probably have him a little bit higher, even though we don't particularly like Darnold as a quarterback. But the familiarity is going to be what's missing.
Well, I think the Vikings, I think the way they play, I think it's very QB friendly. I think that's why Kirk Cousins did so well. I think that's why Sam Darnold did so well. So I think that is why JJ McCarthy has a potential. That's why I'm still pretty high on Jay Jettas. But yeah, I can't disagree with anything.
In saying that, I do like drafting JJ McCarthy as a quarterback option in the double-digit rounds. So a little bit counterintuitive, but I just think he's got so many good weapons. Even if he has an underwhelming season in terms of supporting Jefferson, I still think he can be a somewhat good starting quarterback.
Yeah, I think I'm not game enough.
There you go. So we disagree on a few things.
Yeah, but all right. So the wide receiver, this is one that you're definitely not going to agree with. We've seen from previous episodes that you love Jamar Chase. Everyone does, I suppose. But I've got him as my wide receiver 5 on the season. This top 5 was very hard. I just don't see. The only reason I've got him at number 5, not because he's going to not do well. I think he's still going to be an awesome player. I think he's definitely worthy of the 101 spot. I think he's going to be very safe. I think the other players have upside. 5 and 4 were very hard for me. So again, like it's sort of a flip of a coin for 5 and 4 for me. I think Chase is still awesome. You've went over him a few times now.
Yep.
He's the best. Like he's one of the best. I think the only one that's better than him is Jay Jeter. As a pure wide receiver, I think Jefferson is the best wide receiver. But Chase he's very good. I don't know what else to say with that one. He's going to be top 5. I think he will be number 5.
Is it? I think you mentioned in the first episode. It's the unwritten curse that people don't go back to back. Is that what's pushing him down a bit?
I think that is. Like I said,
you're not superstitious, just a little stitious.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one. First joke of the pod. Okay.
You told me.
Wide receiver 4. Who you got?
Wide receiver 4. Okay, this is going to sound a bit counterintuitive as well. We've used that one a couple of times. I've got Justin Jefferson. I think he is the number 1 fantasy. Not fantasy, but he's the number 1 wide receiver. But like you mentioned with JJ McCarthy, there is sort of question marks there, and I can't get past them. I think that's what's holding me back from putting him in the top 3. I think the top 3 guys, we've seen them play. We know what we're expecting out of the quarterbacks. I think that's what's put me at him at number 4. But again, 4 and 5, that's flip of the coin. Yeah. There's a lot of these ones now that you could just go either way.
So we're in a similar range for Jefferson, where I think you have to draft him in sort of your first 4 picks, and maybe at that price where we're not quite doing it. But now moving on to my number 4.
Your number 4,
which is your number 1 from the first podcast. It's Neighbours. I don't see him hitting the heights of number 1, but I still see him having a very, very good year, especially as mentioned in the first episode. He potentially has 3 quarterback options this year. 3 quarterbacks this year that are better than any of the options he had played with in his first year, which I think is going to be great for someone that had above 30% of the target volume in his offense last year. If he anywhere holds that number, he's going to be a smash pick and someone I do like taking towards the end of the first round if my draft pick is in that position. Not much else to say. He's a top 5 option, number 4 for me. Not much else to say.
I guess we've sort of gone over it. Again, I want to say a million times, these plays, you can swap and change them.
There's almost no wrong answer.
Yeah. There is no wrong answer.
Just
here.
Preference. Yeah. But it's potentially this preference that I like to use in season. Maybe you do draft someone at their ADP and someone that you like better later on gets drafted. You can do a swap around.
Yeah.
So if you have to take Chase at pick 1 and then someone else takes Neighbours at pick 8 or 9, whatever it is, you can do a swap later on and get something on top, which could be a good depth piece or a good starting option.
We've seen people try to do that and it didn't work for them.
Yeah.
We've seen people draft at the number 2 spot. They drafted at the number 1 spot. They wanted a certain player. They drafted someone else thinking they'll trade for him. And then the person didn't want to trade. So that's
so it is risky. It's very better to do it before the draft, but it is something I've tried to do in the past. And depending on your league mates, it can work or it might not.
Yep. If you know anyone in your leagues that they love a certain team, they love a certain player, it's not a bad idea to go and try and grab them. Just make trades like Kale was saying.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I did. To go off topic a little bit, I did this with Barkley last year. I drafted him and picked 12.
Yep.
Trading him, obviously hindsight, bad call, but I got back Puka and a late round RB, which I then used in another trade. Obviously lucky that Puka ended the year well, but would have been good to probably have Barkley. So
I would have run Barkley.
You live and you learn.
What did he rush for? 2,000 yards?
Yeah.
Not
a bad year.
Rough.
Now, before we move into our top 3, we're going to have a quick break for our sponsors.
Yes.
And I believe we're back.
Yes, thank you to all of our lovely sponsors. All right, top 3. Unusual. we've actually got one that we agree on. No
kidding.
All right, I'll get into it. CD Lamb, I've got as the wide receiver 3. I think with the addition of George Pickens, I think he's only going to get better.
I agree.
He's George Pickens isn't going to take targets away from him. He's only going to take defenders away from him. I think Dak Prescott is definitely a good enough quarterback to make them both fantasy viable. I think the Cowboys are going to throw the ball a fair bit.
Mm.
I can't see them relying on Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue.
Definitely not.
So I think they're going to. I think we're prepping to throw the ball a fair bit. I think CD Lamb. I think his targets will go down, but I think the quality of targets will they'll go up. So I think with that, touchdowns are going to go up.
Considering he finished the year with Cooper Rush as his quarterback, he was getting the targets, like you said, but they were.
I'll hear no Cooper Rush. Hey, he's awesome. Cooper Clutch. He was the best backup in. Oh no,
they got Milton, which I don't mind. For those in the dynasty leagues, he's not a bad option.
Cooper Rush was awesome. He was very good.
Yeah, well, like you said, I also have Lamb and agree with everything you said. Yeah, I can see the target volume, going down slightly, but the targets coming from Dak are going to be much better, and he's going to have. Maybe he still gets double teamed, but maybe he has to get double teamed by some lesser players because they have to look for Pickens now as well, who's an absolute monster one-on-one as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how people defend them if they use the option I've seen that they use against Chase and Higgins. Often the number 1 corner will go to Higgins, and then the safety and the number 2 corner will go to Chase as a double team. So whether teams look to use a similar method against now the Cowboys, be very interesting.
Yeah. By the way, as a Cowboy supporter, I'm keen. I think George Pickens, he's stretching the field, and Lamb is just gonna get everything.
Yeah, it's it. Yeah. I think it's one of my most improved offenses with Dak back and them two a wide receiver.
Yeah.
All they need is one of the 4 or 5 potential running backs they've got to do something, and it could be a very, very good offense.
100%. All right, number 2. Do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, considering we also agree here, there was both of our Smokies from the first episode in the wide receiver. It's Puka from the LA Rams, moving to the number 12 shirt number now, vacating number 17 for Adams. But you look at that and you think, maybe he's going to be the number 2 on the team to Adams. I think not a chance. I think he's the clear number 1, and I see the targets being absolutely huge, and I think they very much complement each other in a way that I believe Puka and Cup never did, because Cup getting to that older age was not as quick as he used to be and playing out of the slot a bit, which I think Puka thrives in that role. But I think Adams will be a bit more downfield than Cup was. So I think the target volume is going to be huge for Puka, as I said in the first episode. I can see him getting close to 12. Your thoughts on Puka?
Yeah, I reckon he's going to be awesome. I think he's definitely I think he'll be the wide receiver 2. I could easily see him being the wide receiver 1. Like we mentioned with the Smokies. Yeah, again, it's sort of a flip of a coin for 1 and 2. But I think, Puka, he's an awesome player. We've seen that. He's done well with another wide receiver playing beside him that's also decent in Cooper Kupp. Everyone was worried when he sort of had that breakout season. What happens when Cooper Kupp comes back? Is he going to still continue to be that wide receiver 1? And he was. He still demanded targets. They did drop, but they were just better targets after that. They were just more catchable. He had less defenders on him. He was still awesome. Again, similar to who was it? Nico Collins. I think this is his 3rd season with Stafford, or 2nd. 3rd. I think it's his 3rd. Yeah.
Yep.
So again, similar to Collins, I think that rapport is only just going to increase. I think they're just going to work each other out more and more as they play with each other more. So I think it's going to be Puka. I think he's going to be awesome again this season.
Yep.
I'm happy taking him very, very high in drafts.
Yeah. What's his ADP? What have we got here?
ADP wide receiver 5.
Yeah. So that's very similar value to Neighbours from what I've seen. If I've got a mock draft anywhere from pick sort of 3 or 4 onwards, I'm getting Puka nearly every single time.
Yeah, you can't complain.
Yeah. It's
But
and now number one, obviously, as we both mentioned in the first episode, we already know who we are. I've got Chase, and obviously all the same points I mentioned in the first episode. I just think to have a probably arguably number one, if not number two, wide receiver on a talent base with the quarterback probably on a top three talent base in the league at the same time. It's almost not unheard of, but it's just a recipe for success. And especially when they're going to have to throw because they're going to be behind because of the defense, as we all know, it's not great.
it's terrible.
It's
It's shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's fucking terrible.
It's one of the best recipes for fantasy success I've ever seen in the years I've been playing. So I just think Joe Burrow throws a lot, and again, why I had Higgins at number 12. I just think as long as everyone stays healthy, which you have to assume at this time of the year, I think they're both top 12, and I think Chase leads the way by some distance. But again, I can see Puka getting close out of anyone. But I think Chase could be a couple of points clear in a PPR league again this year.
I can't hate it. This one you might hate. Malik Neighbours. So I've got Malik Neighbours as my number one. Last season he was the wide receiver 6. I didn't know that. But I've got Malik Neighbours, similar to Chase. They've got a pretty lackluster defense. I think they're going to have to throw the ball a fair bit. Like I mentioned, so I think Russell Wilson is still good enough. I think he's still a solid quarterback who's capable of producing a wide receiver 1. But if he gets benched and Jameis Winston comes in, I think everyone is going to be throwing everything they can at you to get Malik Neighbours from you. Because we've seen what Jameis Winston can do. I love the idea of that. But I'm not going to get my hopes up too much on it.
It's probably the only reason I don't have him. I mean, I've got him at 4, so still very high. But I just, for the draft pick investment, trading up to get Dart to pick 24 or 25, I don't see them going to Winston. I think he's probably the number 3 option there, and I could potentially see him at a different team at some point in the year because I think Dart could be that option if Russ isn't getting it done, which to me almost a recipe for disaster with the offensive line they've got there.
Well, they have improved
and a tough schedule.
They've improved their O-line. I think what they've done is pretty good in bringing Dart, have 2 veteran quarterbacks ahead of him, so he can learn from for a season. I do like what the Giants are going to look like in a couple of years. I think Abdul Carter, I think he's going to be a monster. But I think Neighbours, he's coming off his rookie year. I think he's going to be awesome.
Yeah, no, can't argue with it. In mock drafts, I often get him a lot towards the end of the first round if Puka is not there. Well, that wraps it up. That's our top 12 wide receivers for the 2025 fantasy year.
Let us know what you think we got wrong.
If you disagree, leave your comment down below. And on screen, we'll have all our socials. Please join. We're going to have good content coming there very soon. And
subscribe. All right.
No.
See you later.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
All right.
Bye-bye.